On this week's episode of The Video Store, Josh does a French dispatch of big-time adolescents in Westworld on the hunt. Frank joins some hunters on a sugar rush for wee bears. Josh finds his first love in Jumanji with beautiful girls in Sonic, while Frank builds fences on Fantasy Island with the Iron Giant and the Night Clerk. And finally, we become villains in search for the foreigner flower.
Happy birthday, Ric Flair! Woo!
Put some sauce on that.
Welcome to the Video Store Podcast, where we review movies, television shows, and whatever else we watched this week. My name is Frank.
And my name is Josh.
What's going on, Josh?
Hey, what's up with you? What are you doing here?
Trying to reopen the Firefox tab that had all the notes.
You need to close all that porn tabs on your thing there and get things corrected.
Yeah, I don't like the bookmark. I just like to open a new window every time. Anyways,
shut down the porn.
It's all good because Josh has a lot more to say than I do in our first segment, which is thoughts and trailers.
Thoughts and whalers. So, Frank, I added a bunch of trailers and you rebelled. You rebelled against me. I don't know.
Well, I have that rule that once I know I'm going to watch something, and I hate
your rule.
I don't need to watch the trailer. I want to go in as knowing as little as possible. Much like Joe Biden in a debate, I like to go in knowing as little as possible.
Hey, I need more time. He had all the time. Look, all my thing is, I find trailers are a bit of a piece of art, and the way that you entice someone regarding the story and the way you choose to allude or provide information, I think that's part of the art of it that I like to watch trailers. It's not just about going to see the movie and maybe finding some information. I like to see how I'm enticed to check out your movie and things like that. So anyways, now on to them. French Dispatch, I'm sure you've heard of, Frank, right? Yeah.
I did. I was very excited to see the poster. Very stylish. This is from Wes Anderson, written and directed, and the cast looks amazing. So yeah, I'm in.
7,000 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so I did watch the trailer, of course, and it looks fantastic. Everyone looks great. The only scene that I will tell you about, because I'm going to spoil a little bit. It's not actual spoilers, but Bill Murray tells a kid to get out of his office, and he says, "Hey, you see the sign? The sign says, no crying. Just don't cry in my office."
Sounds funny. I mean, I love Bill Murray. I think he's been a great addition to the Wes Anderson verse.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The Wesiverse.
Yeah, I was a big fan of his last movie, the stop motion I Love Dogs. I think it's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to see a huge ensemble cast in a new live action movie.
Yeah, and I will also say that Benicio del Toro showing up in this looks adorable and fun. So lots of cast people in here. This is going to just be one of those movies for movie buffs. That it's kind of like a crack for people who love films, I think.
Word. Yeah, I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. And, I agree with you. I'm very excited to see this.
See, called it. Next up, Big Time Adolescence. Frank, are you familiar at all? I think you're a Pete Davidson fan.
I'm not a huge fan of Pete Davidson. I don't know. He's just...
Yeah, I'm not a huge Pete Davidson.
And real quick...
You look like what I would be if I was successful, because we both have the same, badger raccoon eyes and super awkwardness. Yeah. But beyond that, you actually executed. I just kind of sat here and did a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, for better or for worse, I don't know, dude. He said some dumb shit about strippers one time that just stuck with me. Okay. He said strippers and porn stars are terrible people just based on that, and he's just seemed like a huge douchebag.
Yeah, and, I don't have enough information to determine one way or the other, because I don't pay as much attention to him. More so, I was so perplexed by him dating Lena Headey, or no, Kate Beckinsale. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's dated everyone. Everyone you have a crush on, he's dated.
I know, and it's we look so alike.
That could be why I hate him a little, but I try not to play or hate at all.
We look alike?
Huh?
You hate him because we look alike?
Oh, no. I meant because of all the women he's dated. Oh, but I don't think that's it, because that's silly. I don't think like his comedy. I remember him being really hyped up for a couple of the Comedy Central roast, and I just didn't land for me. And his contributions to SNL have been like more about his personal life, and I don't know. Just not a huge fan. I saw he has a stand-up out on Netflix right now, and I was thinking about checking that out. But this is starring Pete Davidson. That's why we're going back and forth about this one. It's about a suburban teenager that comes of age under the destructive guidance of his best friend, an aimless college dropout. And I'm assuming Pete's the dropout?
Correct. It's very far from his real life. It actually looks a bit more of like a soft drama and a feel-good story. Kind of reminds me of In a World of Mid-90s, a spinoff of another kid living outside his normal realm with people above his age and living a life that, and it's of, danger and all that kind of stuff. But it seems genuine and heartfelt, and I don't see anything that could say this might be a super terrible or just a gimmick. It actually looks like it does have some legitimate heart to it. It's quite interesting because also John Cryer plays his father, and there's a couple of other weird people that show up in this movie. You'll be like, Who
doesn't like John Cryer too? I mean,
I know, right?
It's a good choice,
man. So, anyways, it just seems like a heartfelt story that might be decent and something a little bit of a different avenue for him, or him trying out some actual acting chops, or just playing himself in a movie, because that could also be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, and the picture you painted sounds like an interesting enough movie. It came out limited in theaters in January. It's going to be on Hulu March 20th, so about 3-4 weeks time. Have a chance to see it. And then French Dispatch is going to be out in theaters in July of this year. Wow. You also want to talk about the Westworld Season 3 trailer. Yes. I kind of dropped out midway through Season 2 of Westworld. I thought the first season executed some puzzles and some mysteries really well, but it didn't seem like there was much to pull out of this show.
Really?
Granted, I mean, it is
a world where robots take over?
It is a pretty broad thing. I mean, like I said, I only got as far as Samurai World in Season 2, and it just wasn't doing it for me. I thought some great performances, for sure, and some interesting reveals, but it just got to the point where, like Thandie Newton's character, Maeve, and Dolores, played by Evan Rachel Wood, I think they're both fantastic.
Oh, and, kill it. I feel like everyone kills it. Jeffrey Wright kills it.
Jeffrey Wright was great, and, there's some interesting reveals there, but I don't know. It just wasn't doing it for me. I didn't honestly care about the characters that much to follow the show. Sounds like you've been watching every episode and you're up to date on the show.
Frank, I like it a lot.
And I know Aaron Paul is a big addition in Season 3.
Yeah, I did see that as well.
And what does this trailer do for you, man?
God, it got me off, Frank. Got me off. Gave me my Westworld tease. It was quite enjoyable, and now the world is trending in a direction where in the trailer, it's not spoiling, Evan Rachel Wood and Thandie Newton are going to face off, man. Thandie Newton's now hired to take her down because she was probably offered something, amazing. Who knows? The world looks visual, great. I love this world, so I'm a big fan. I love this Westworld, Frank. Love this Westworld. This was just a good follow-up for me when Leftovers had ended, and it takes dramatic turns, and I love the plot twist, and I enjoy the characters, and I don't know. I like cowboys too, Frank.
Yeah, so what you've described sounds interesting. I got to catch up. I think it's a very polarizing show. People are either all in or could give a fuck less. I'm more in the could give a fuck less, but I'm gonna pay attention, see what you say about the first 2 episodes of season. Maybe I'll catch back up on it. I don't know, man. I'm just very suspicious. It just feels like a show that doesn't know how to continue. So I doubt it's gonna have a satisfying ending because it doesn't seem like they know where it wants to go.
Dude, in the second half of that season, they jammed home some crazy plot lines that I think you missed out on. I think that's the thing. You got to be in it for the whole fucking season, or don't fucking start it, because you're not going to be satisfied midway. It's just not possible.
It wasn't that. Yeah, I know that. I know things usually build season to season.
Well,
it was just I didn't care about the characters.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed seeing these robots kind of have sentience, and it's another element of those Black Mirror type circumstances. And how far can artificial intelligence go in technology until we've done too much or whatever it may be. But I love a good sci-fi, Frank, and I love a lot of people in that show. So
cool. Either way, man, I hope you update the podcast like as you watch it.
Sure. I'll do it every few episodes. Nobody likes to hear about it every week, or I don't know, unless I'm doing like an in-depth review of the episode, I guess. I don't know. We'll move on.
Word.
And then The Hunt re-released their trailer again. This was that movie that was canceled because it was about hunting people, and people were all against gun violence, and they're like, hey, guns, bad, things are happening, and no movie. And okay, I mean, Die Hard kept coming out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so this comes out March 13th in theaters. Same week, to go back to Westworld, that's going to be on HBO Sundays, starting on the 15th. This one's about a dozen strangers. They wake up in a clearing, and they don't know why they're there. They don't know why they've been chosen for the hunt, and it's got some pretty interesting stars in it. They beefed up Ethan Suplee, the new jacked up version.
He's been beefing himself up. If you've seen his workout and how much weight
he's jacked.
Ethan. Dude,
good for him, man.
Fuck yeah, man. This is a guy we've been watching his whole career probably, and to see him come back in style and fashion and say, fuck all you, I can do whatever I want, and look what I can do. Good for him.
Yeah, so this is a little action, a little horror. I mean, this movie could have something to say. The marketing's been kind of cringy for it.
It is.
But interesting to see Hilary Swank in something like this. Emma Roberts and Ethan Suplee, they've been in horror movies before. And Ike Barinholtz, who I loved in Blockers, and I just a big fan of. And Macon Blair, who's written, directed, and starred in a lot of ultra-violent things recently, too. It's a pretty interesting cast. I've been dying to see something in theaters, so I'll probably check this one out.
I'm always interested in a good battle royale since the original battle royale. Putting people in uncomfortable positions and seeing what happens. But do you think Hilary Swank is losing her star power, and maybe she's just trying to cash some checks? And I don't know. Maybe she's still awesome. But do you see her, like, not as often?
Yeah, I mean, it's just how it is, unfortunately. Most stars just have, like, a short window, and she's done some great stuff. It's just, I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of the roles for women, I think she could fit into, like, the action movie roles, which have been really trendy, but there's just so much competition, and like I said, it's a popularity thing, and sometimes talent doesn't always give you the roles. It's who's popular.
But her last name is Swank.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta admit though, $1 Million Baby was won a lot of awards, but like, what's her big movie as far as like box office? She doesn't have like Sandra Bullock or Charlize Theron. Like,
you ain't got them speed numbers.
Track record. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's probably it. She did the college one or the high school one. It was like Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, but not. It was very similar. I think it came out when we worked at Blockbuster too. Yeah,
I think she'd be good in a lot of like indie Netflix, Hulu stuff, or give her like a prime series. She's a great actress.
Get yourself a role in a Safdie Brothers movie.
And it's funny, like we love horror movies, but we're like taking the Hollywood stance of like that they are lesser than, like award bait movies. This could be really cool, and she probably is really good in it.
Yeah, but see, the thing is about horror, the ability to impact and show your emotional range is always so big there. So if you can nail those things, that's sometimes your comeback feature.
Word. It worked for Jodie Foster. On two things we've actually watched in what we watched this week. Let's start out with some TV time. Josh, you've been spending some time binging some shows, starting with
the binging of the shows.
One on Amazon Prime that I'm very interested in, Hunters, starring Al Pacino as he leads a diverse band of Nazi hunters in 1977 New York, and they discover that hundreds of high-ranking Nazi officers are conspiring to create a Fourth Reich, so the sequel to the Third Reich, in the United States, and this team will set out a bloody quest to bring them to justice. I want this to be good. I'm definitely all about, hunting down, taking care of Nazis. Inglourious Bastards, one of my favorite movies of the last decade.
I said Gorlami.
Yeah, man. I don't expect it to be that good, but please tell me this is fun.
This is fun, and also takes some more dramatic turns, and there are some really good, interesting things that happen. Here, let me go. Here I go, Frank. Here I go. Because I watched this whole fucking thing, but I'm not going to get super depth. The opening scene is great. Fantastic. Gets you right into this world.
Hooks you in.
Like a fucking trout, Frank. You just rung me right in. So, takes a little bit of time to get going as they, build some character and some plot line within this world. And Pacino's not really seen for maybe even half the episode. Who knows? I can't really recall. So many episodes ago. But it's very stylized. It has characters with heart. I love this ragtag group of hunters as they are. Something very, very interesting that I found very informative-ish. I mean, it's basically that they had a bunch of stories told about World War II, living in camps. They kind of come throughout the storyline. And I think they were very well done. Of course, some of them are dramatized for the storyline, and it's obvious where that happens. But a lot of the stories that they do tell are not too far from the truth, I would say. And I think they do it very well with respecting the events and things that happened, and they don't exploit them. Obviously, this is an alternate realm and world where it's a little bit of hidden spies and bridge of lies kinds of things where secret identities, how they got in there, et cetera, et cetera. But all in all, I think it's extremely fun. It kind of reminded me of The Boys, and I wouldn't say, I'd say less funny, but more dramatic.
Okay. It makes sense. I can't wait for The Boys, man. It took a while to get on that one, but yeah. Cool. So there's 10 episodes right now on HBO. Oh, I'm sorry, Amazon Prime. And I was trying to find out length of episodes, but I couldn't really find it.
They're roughly, I think, an hour or 50 minutes, something like that, if I'm correct. They are some decent time in there, but it's good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Shifting gears, if I am correct, you watched a baking show on Netflix called Sugar Rush. Cool.
Well, so to be fair, this was something. To be fair, listen to me before you speak. This was something that my mom would throw on when she was here like a couple weeks ago, and I was watching them, and I love Chopped and cooking shows. Like it's always a guilty pleasure for me. I love watching people cook food. So I was like, all right, I'm hooked on this. And then you see some impressive moments where people get through 3 rounds and they build this fucking huge cake, and then it falls apart, and their whole world literally comes crashing down in front of their eyes.
So is it played for dramatics, or is it played for comedy?
No, it's your standard Cupcake Wars format, type of cooking show with judges, and they have different teams come in. They get eliminated as the show progresses, but you see some really creative art, some really interesting different worlds of where people come from, and kind of how they develop their skill, because there was definitely a set of you could say chefs at that point, because these guys really knew how to use different flavors from all over anything, not just dessert things and not just baking. They had complex layers to what they were doing, so you could kind of see that some skill sets were definitely separated. But if you like cooking shows, they have a few of these. There's like Sugar Rush, Christmas. If you enjoy that stuff, you will like this. It's not terrible.
Cool. So far, the only one I really dug was Nailed It, which is definitely played for the comedy. And just sets them up really to fail. It's about how hilariously they fail. But this one looks really cool. The next thing you're going to talk about, I was unaware of its existence until you added to the notes. But I am
about this?
Into this. It's called We Bare Bears. There's 140 episodes of this.
I've seen a whole bunch of these.
30-minute series, which is some on Netflix apparently, and also on Cartoon Network streaming. They look fucking adorable. It's about three bear brothers that do whatever they can to be a part of human society by doing what everyone around them does. Voiced by Bobby Moynihan, Eric Edelstein, and Dimitri Martin. You got to look this up if you guys are listening to this. Go to your search engine of choice and look up We BARE Bears.
Okay.
We Bear Bears. They're fucking adorable, man. This looks like a lot of fun.
I can't believe you never knew about this. So
I want to get high. I'm already high.
Oh my God.
And then watch this show.
So you should. So this show is something that I've seen a whole bunch of episodes. I used to watch it a year or two ago. I don't know why.
It's been out since 2014. That's why there's so many episodes.
Yeah, so I've seen a fuck ton of these episodes, but then I was looking on Netflix the other day and I was like, hey, these are on here. And I was like, you know what? This is a great show probably a lot of people don't know about, so I'm going to talk about this. It is. It's an adorable show where there's a mixture of episodes where it's played by the people you had mentioned. And then there's a whole bunch of episodes where they're children, like in the past, and they're played by kids, and they have even more adorable episodes. It's really cute. It's really fun. It's a great kid show and adult show, and there's no reason not to check it out. It's just really cute and fun. Nothing bad about it. So basically, just to give you a little bit, Dimitri Martin plays Ice Bear. He doesn't play and it's just, I love that they call him Ice Bear. And then Bobby Moynihan plays Panda. They call him Pan Pan. Eric Edelstein plays Grizzly, and Grizzly's kind of the leader of the group. He kind of leads them through decisions. Obviously, there's triangle strife. Dimitri Martin plays literally this like Zen like bear. He's always he gets mad, but when he does, he's like, Ice Bear's not happy.
It looks like they have extended like guest appearances by people like Jason Lee and
Jason
Patton
Lee
Oswalt.
plays a few characters, and what's the first one that he played? Charlie or something, and he was like this weird dude that was fully covered in hair.
Dude, I gotta see. After this podcast, this is what I'm going to go do until I pass out tonight. Just watch We Bear Bears.
Yeah, you can.
Amazing.
Well, you're welcome for finally giving you something, because I give you nothing.
Hey, man, I've been watching Dark Gently. I'll have my review of season 1.
But do you like it so far?
Yeah, not as much as I'm going to like this TV Y17 rated children's show. There's a like screen cap on the IMDb page, and it's just them three happy as can be in Santa hats eating hot dogs with soda, popcorn next to them. Oh,
dude, they have the best time.
They look like they do.
They do. They really do. You'll love it. And so Pan Pan, he's he's more sensitive, technology based, really into like social, trying to date and stuff like that.
Oh, like Donatello, like in tech.
Wait, Donatello in what?
The Turtles.
Yeah, he was the smart one. Yeah, he's I wouldn't say as smart as he likes technology and fucking around on his phone. He loves his phone to death. You'll see how much he loves his phone.
Yeah.
So anyways, people of all ages, men, boys, children, girls, dudes and adults, old people, check out Bear Bears.
Cool. So yeah, plenty of TV time options thanks to Josh.
You're fucking welcome.
Very, very excited. Let's talk about some flicks we picked in the What to Watch This Week segment of the show. On Hoopla, I noticed Hoopla is again, free streaming service you get with most library cards. Like a lot of streaming services, the front page isn't so great. So I went bopping around the search engine, and I realized that Takeshi Miike, I don't know if you remember, he did like Ichi the Killer, an Audition, and over 100 films. He has his latest is called First Love. It came out last year. It's about a young boxer and a call girl getting caught up in a drug smuggling scheme over the course of one night in Tokyo. And
night in Tokyo.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of romance centered around these two characters are kind of tough luck characters, and Miike always has like very interesting side characters. Isn't afraid to show some violence, but it's a very messy, almost like a Departed, but not as sophisticated. Where you have like factions of drug gangs and the police department, some of them being crooked, some of them not, just creating this chaos. And this boxer and this call girl who really have nothing to do with it get caught up in the middle of it and, forge a bond out of survival and just coincidence. So I thought it was really good. I thought the performances were pretty fantastic. And he's just such a skilled filmmaker. It's one of those things. Now, this is like a story, obviously, that interests me because I'm like, as generic as it sounds, I'm like, oh, this sounds fun. But
right.
Takashi Miike is so great that he kind of will get me interested in anything, honestly. And I usually give his films a chance. So I would recommend checking this one out.
All right. Okay. And that's on Hoopla.
That's on Hoopla.
That's on Hoopla. Don't miss the H and hit the P. Bad things happen.
Hoopla is not a great streaming service, yeah.
It's not.
So you go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just we'll call this the light touches. I'm gonna do a light touch. Just gotta touch it lightly. But I'm gonna ask for permission first. Jumanji was something that you had reviewed last week. I just had such an interest in Danny DeVito's voice echoing through people that I wanted to see that. I think as far as those imitation performances go, that was quite fun to watch, and it is a general adventure that keeps going the whole time. It was okay. I did like the way they ended it because that kind of goes full circle for a Jumanji fan. So that's something that may take it into a better direction for somebody that enjoyed the original Robin Williams.
Yeah, man, I thought this one was a lot more action-packed, funnier than the sequel, and then, like you said, all the additions, cast-wise, were positive.
Huh? I said that the ostrich...
So
speak faster!
Probably a little before our time, Ted Demme made a film called Beautiful Girls. Huge ensemble cast. Yeah, it came out in 1996, so you and I were like young teenagers, if even that.
Did I see it... Why does that sound?
You've probably seen this, and jump in if it sounds familiar. But during a snowy winter in a small fictional town of Knights Ridge, Massachusetts, a group of lifelong buddies hang out, drink, and struggle to connect with the women who affect their decisions, dreams, and desires. It's a very coming of age movie about guys in their 20s, starring Timothy Hutton, Matt Dillon, Noah Emmerich, Michael Rappaport, and Lauren Holly, Uma Thurman, Mira Sorvino, Rosie O'Donnell, and a young Natalie Portman. This is a Miramax film, a lot of the regular Miramax people, but it can really be summed up.
Ben Affleck? No Ben Affleck?
No Ben Affleck, but very much like a prototype for Good Will Hunting to work off of and improve, honestly. The guys are all assholes. They all pine after women who they don't really deserve. Assholes. Lauren Holly's character, pretty questionable ethically. And there's also, they all work snowplows. They all speak in poetry. So they all have this very poetic fucking dialogue, which is weird. Even Rappaport, which is unintentionally funny. But there's this weird relationship with Timothy Hutton's character, who's in his 30s, and then Natalie Portman's character, who plays a 13-year-old, where he's in love with her, and he confesses to his buddies that he would wait for her and all this stuff because he connects with her more than he's ever connected with a woman his age. And it's very creepy. It's something Natalie Portman has done a couple times early in her career.
Was this The Professional?
Yeah, this is the one after Professional. And gotcha. It's just so cringy, and this movie's just so up its own ass, the characters in it. I can't recommend it. I was excited. It's I've heard good things about this movie, and it has so many people I like. And, it seems like the type of genre that I'd be into, but I think it's a pass. It is on Hoopla if you want to see for yourself, but I couldn't recommend it.
Okay. Well, speaking of things that we can't recommend, Josh. Sega.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge Sonic video game fan, but
I did. I remember that opening theme I
was more of a Mario bro.
Anyways, yeah, I did it, Frank. I did it hard.
Yeah, this is now in theaters. It is it was a number one movie for 2 straight weeks. It's actually gotten really good Rotten Tomatoes scores, which doesn't really mean much. But you're saying no. No, you're saying pass. Because I was going to watch this actually before the show, and you told me not to. And I was just like, I wanted to go home. and
I also said, maybe do it for yourself and then tell me if I'm wrong.
I'm going to see it eventually. It looks like it has staying power in theaters. So if you guys want to, you'll probably have a chance to see it. But what was bad about it, man? Like,
how they opened the movie was miserable. Cut those first 5 or 6 minutes. Just the whole intro to the thing with doing the, how did we get here? Let's back it up.
Oh, so they're like, there's a whole other movie we didn't want to show you that leads you to this.
Well, they're like, hey, pretty much. They take a scene out of the movie and then say, what takes us to here? And then the only good part about it is when someone actually makes the sound.
Interesting.
Anyways, pretty terrible. Not a lot of laughs. Very minimal. Sonic was pretty rough, and I love Ben Schwartz. There's nothing. Hey,
I love him too.
Ben, you're awesome. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that dude. That dude is basically he's my spirit animal.
I love that guy. Big hair, big personality. It's our kind of guy.
So, I just felt this. It was such a one-dimensional story, and James Marsden did his best. And I have nothing against him either. He's a great dude, very funny guy. But overall, it delivered very weak sauce. The sauce, I couldn't even taste the sauce. It was so weak.
Yeah, you had to open up the sandwich, check, see if the sauce was there.
There was literally, they took juice out of the sandwich.
It's like they took a knife and took the sauce right off.
It's like they served me a red brick of shit.
Well, that's a shame that it's sauceless.
Now, with that said,
okay,
Jim Carrey, fucking amazing.
Okay, nice. I'm a Jim Carrey fan.
Look, I grew. That's my Jim Carrey. So, anyways, this was the first time I've seen him in something that looked like a classic Jim Carrey role, and that he hadn't lost a single fucking beat of his visual humor, his ability to go far and beyond what the words are saying, and really imbibe the moments. Everything about what he did in the movie was super fun, and even though the general storyline and the Sonic and Marsden's thing really sucked and their relationship was kind of silly, Jim Carrey, I really hope this says that he's back and can do more stuff, because he is totally capable. He didn't miss a beat. Didn't miss a fucking beat, that guy. Maybe that's one-sided because I've always been a Jim Carrey fan, but I think I've recognized movies where he wasn't good. I remember we saw like 23 and some there's been a few over his career that maybe weren't the biggest winners, but here just looked like Bruce Almighty or fucking Ace Ventura, just another character in his platform. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. I mean, I trust your opinion. It's just one of those ones where it's so weird. I was worried it was going to have the Smurfification of it, where it's like, we're just taking this character out of his cool, interesting world and putting him in our dumb, ordinary world. And I heard he's like in a pickup truck for like 15 minutes. I'm like, why? He's fast. He's cool.
Because he got shot in the leg with a tranquilizer jar.
15 minutes, though.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. They rode in the car a lot. It was, dude, I told you, there's no sauce on that fucking Sonic.
Well,
but Jim Carrey was spilling it all over the place. Maybe that made up for it. I don't know. You tell me, people of the world that we never hear from.
Respond somehow. You know who always brings the sauce? Denzel Washington brings the sauce.
Denzel Washington brings the sauce.
Figuratively and literally in this movie, Fences, that I finally saw, as I'm trying to do a good job of catching up on Black History Month with some interesting black directed starring
Fences,
movies.
Frank, really?
Huh?
By putting up fences?
Yes. This is a 2016 film directed and starring Denzel Washington along with Viola Davis that is a adaptation of the play that he starred in for about 5-6 years before that.
This won awards, correct?
Yeah. It takes place in 1950s Pittsburgh. A frustrated African-American father, played by Denzel Washington, struggles with the constraints of poverty, racism, and his own inner demons as he tries to raise a family. Yeah, two heavy hitters here. Denzel Washington, who, he's doing his thing. They give him huge chunks of dialogue and space for him to. Yeah, he himself. Yeah, because I mean, it's the character. I think they pretty much in the writing credits, it's the person who wrote the play. They didn't really do much to it. change it at all. But it's what makes Denzel great. These huge speeches and blow up moments, and then Viola Davis, conversely, just does so much with little parts and with her mannerisms and her face and her voice, and I think she's fantastic. So you have two of the best actors right now in this, and it is a little stagey, meaning it doesn't really do much in the film they couldn't do on stage, as far as setting wise. But it was a good change of pace for me, and something I bought a year ago. Just with me, dramas I have to be in the mood to watch, and I was fortunately in the mood for this and checked this out, and I'd highly recommend it. I thought it was fantastically done. And brings up some important stuff, and paints a picture of two characters, that aren't maybe necessarily perfect, but they're real, and they put you in their shoes in a situation in a time that we have been experienced firsthand. And I like that part in movies, when they do that.
What was the timeline?
1950s Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And he's a trash worker, and he's fighting to become a driver. He just feels he's fighting against all the disadvantages that he's had, and he also has some, like I said, personal demons that come up. So he's a very interesting character, and one that is definitely has many gray areas.
Was it a bit of an act off between them? Was it I'm gonna fucking out act you?
No, they just play so well off each other. Denzel I think is pretty gracious. Most of his big roles are where he's teamed up with people. Think of Training Day.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, where I think he plays off people so well, but I think he sets people up, like a good wrestler, he takes the bumps and delivers them.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor. I like that. Denzel, you're the best wrestler, bro.
So you caught up with Fantasy Island.
Yeah, I'm just following in your footsteps, Frank. Your shitty ass footsteps.
Well, we have one rule on this podcast. What's that rule? If Michael Che is in a movie,
we don't talk about podcast. If
Michael Pena is in a movie, we watch Michael Pena.
And we don't talk about podcasts.
Yes.
That's kind of what drove me home, baby. I agree. I don't remember. I think your opinion was lukewarm, washy, campy, and meh. Was that fair?
I said it was dumb and fun.
That's fair.
I think I was more positive than negative, honestly.
Okay. I'd probably be there with you and maybe a step behind, because even Pena they didn't let him do his thing, and
he was the most out of character for sure.
Right. Just it was bland Pena. There was no sauce on that Pena. Visually, a little fun, a little bit of weak trickery. I don't know. It was something. It was a movie.
Yeah. So, moving on.
Light touches, man.
Light touches. I'm a big Brad Bird fan, and this is another film. I'd say this is one of the big blind spots in my movie watching history, is I haven't seen The Iron Giant until this past Sunday. It's available on all the digital renting services. You can buy it digitally as well. This is a 1999 movie about the small town of Rockwell, Maine. In October 1957, a giant metal machine befriends a 9-year-old boy and ultimately finds its humanity by unselfishly saving people from their own fears and prejudices. What's that?
You never saw this?
No, I never saw it. I've always heard good things.
Vin Diesel is the robot.
I know. I even think, my stepson, I think he had this movie and watched it. I was just doing something else that day. You have Vin Diesel voicing the Iron Giant, and Jennifer Aniston is another major voice actress in this. She plays the mother of Hogarth Hughes, which is the boy that discovers the robot, and Harry Connick Jr. Plays the cool guy that knows how to fix machines and stuff, and befriends the boy. And man, this is just perfect movie for me. Everything I love about Brad Bird, he just knows how to write and create amazing characters that this is very much 1950s propaganda, Leave It to Beaver style shit, but there is some realistic undertones, which I think makes this something that hits hard more than most stuff from that era, or that depict that era even. And it's fun. It sucks you in, and then just gives you a throat punch. And you really connect emotionally to the boy and his robot. It is everything Transformers wished it was, and just a great movie. Brad Bird, for some of you who don't know, is like one of the big creators behind some Pixar greats like Ratatouille and the Incredibles movies.
Yeah, this was a classic, man. Definitely. It was also, I think, ahead of its time in the animation side of it, because everything looked really good. I mean, I could be wrong. I think maybe they were right around there. I guess a lot of Disney movies, but just really well done, driven home well. I had very minimal clue beyond that Vin Diesel was the voice, and that was something I learned over time. I didn't know at the time when I watched it much younger that Vin Diesel was the voice. But still, anyways, just a great classic thing. And this is what I think probably led him to his Groot role. This is what got him the role right here.
Yeah, very similar characters, and yeah, I agree, man. It's a classic, 5 out of 5 stars, amazing. Tell me about The Night Clerk, which I do not know what it is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, okay, what he doesn't know what it is on Amazon Prime. Okay, so this was, I don't know if it was recently released, but I had seen a trailer for this at one point, and I think, and this is the fun thing for me. Sometimes when you're misled in a trailer, it leads you down a different path when you watch the movie. So this was the story of a voyeuristic hotel clerk that becomes the subject of a murder investigation. Also, my boy Johnny Legs is in it.
Oh, yeah. And Ty Sheridan. I think you like him.
Yeah, he was okay. He's all right. I don't remember what I've seen him in, but I've seen him in things. What have I seen that dude in? Frank, hit me.
You have seen Ty Sheridan probably in Mud, Ready Player One. Joe, he's really great in that.
Oh, he was Scott Summers in X-Men.
X-Men Apocalypse, yep.
Yeah, and I think I recognized him, and I was just like, fuck, man. I don't know. I want to watch this. So the trailer, I thought it was more geared towards a psychopath that worked in a hotel and being a voyeur and then witnessed something and dealt with things in some crazy format. But it was more of a drama and a character profile of a kid that suffered Asperger's in a pretty severe format, that had a job as a night clerk and was watching people because he was learning how to basically have a conversation. He obviously put cameras in all these people's rooms, not for the sick, perverted nature of it, but as much as trying to see people in their elements and how they're speaking and tones that they take. And immediately it starts off where he's just trying to learn how to say things correctly, the right timing, knowing when to shut up and when to speak, and just have a good social interaction. So this kid eventually witnesses a murder. He goes to the room to try and stop it, and I guess it had already happened, and he wasn't really admitting anything to John Leguizamo, who plays the detective, and the storyline gets a little crazier, but in the most part, I think it sheds a light on the disease itself and how people are perceived by others, and a very interesting main character that was obviously extremely smart, but had his very specific way of showing that and dealing with things. And also, as he eventually meets someone at the place that he works, he develops admiration for them, and his ability to deal with love and understanding how to communicate that is just is very interesting. So for a character profile story without the murder aspect of it, it's quite interesting. It could have that element, and it's totally okay with that. However, I think by itself, it's kind of a good watch and good performances.
Cool. And I saw that Ana de Armas is in it. She is like most recently, she was like the maid in
yes, yeah, in Knives Out.
Knives Out, yeah. I'm a big fan of hers. So was she play a big role in it, or?
Yeah, she was the girl that he had the love interest in.
Cool. Yeah, I dig her. So definitely trying to check out some more stuff with her in it.
Yeah, so this one, I don't know what the reviews are. I think it's a good watch, though, and at least a good one watch, and watch how well Ty Sheridan does with this role. Watch the Helen Hunt play his mother, and I think all in all, decent watch.
Cool, man. So I checked out Villains on Hulu. This is a movie that the trailer worked. It pulled me in, and the proposition.
Oh, you watched the trailer?
Yeah.
Oh,
because I never heard of it, so I didn't know what it was about. And the tagline is when two bad people are about to meet two worse people. So when the car breaks down, a couple on the run heading southbound for a fresh start, played by Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe. Micah Monroe is she was the lead in It Follows, so she's the blonde main character. And I know you're well versed in all the Skarsgårds. Bill played the clown in It. And he's been in Atomic Blonde, Assassination Nation, a bunch of stuff that I dig. So they're an interesting young couple and two actors that I really like. They are on the run. They break into a house owned by Kara Cedric's character and Jeffrey Donovan, Jeffrey Donovan, if you don't know, look him up. He's a great character actor. He's been in probably a dozen movies that you've seen. And I did
see a trailer for this.
Even more evil and more weird. Yeah. So the film, unfortunately, is entertaining, but doesn't really live up to the promise the trailer offers. It kind of gets distracted and is full of big dialogue scenes. I liked it enough, but I saw the potential for a really great film, and it was just an entertaining, pretty good movie.
That's a shame because I agree. The hook was there, the ability was there. We've seen movies similar to this where, the bad guy thinks he's, baddest son of a bitch in town, but then he runs into somebody that is a sadistic psychopath that eats ears. You never know. Yeah, that's a shame. Maybe I won't be checking that out. Cool. Maybe this movie has become my villain?
All right, so you checked out Mr. Right on what streaming service?
Netflix.
All right. I've checked this out a while ago. I don't think I ever talked about it on the podcast. If I did,
here we are.
Years ago. Pretty interesting romantic comedy, right?
Right. Absolutely. Kind of follows in suit. I don't remember what came out first, but do you remember? I think it was Mila Kunis. And who was where she was dating the spy, et cetera.
Oh, the spy who dumped me. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Frank.
With Kate from SNL.
McKinnon.
McKinnon, yeah, who I love.
Booyah! We did it together as a team. So this movie, Mr. Right, is about a girl who falls for the perfect guy who happens to have a very fatal flaw. He's a hitman on the run from crime cartels who employ him. Played by Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick, which, what a fucking pairing, right?
Yeah, I love both of them.
I love them both. I love you both. I love you, Sam. I love you, Anna. Love you guys. Anyways, moving on. Very cute, very action-packed, fun, quirky, romantic love story. Perfect as a good popcorn flick, and also just with two people that are doing what they love, having a good time, and playing through a pretty fun little action-packed storyline. Nothing super terrible to say about it beyond I enjoy seeing the quips. I enjoy the back and forths. This is candy for me, Frank. What about you?
Yeah, man, I thought it was pretty cool. Similar to Villains, I remember it as being purely just entertaining. Didn't really get much more out of it. Two people that I really like to see in movies, and it was I guess maybe more your speed because it was written by Max Landis, who created your Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective and American Ultra. So stuff that you're a fan of.
That's right.
So it's probably why the comedy landed for you pretty well.
I would agree. High paced, quick witted. That's stuff that I'm always a fan of, and I love Anna Kendrick. She's so great.
Cool. So I forgot to add one. So I have two quick reviews and to end the podcast.
How fucking dare you? You're fired.
First Get up is Netflix recently added The Foreigner, which is a 2017 film starring Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. This one is about a humble London businessman whose long buried past erupts in a revenge-fueled vendetta when the only person left to him to love, his teenage daughter, dies in a senseless act of politically motivated terrorism. His relentless search to find the terrorist leads to a cat-and-mouse conflict with a British government official, played by Pierce Brosnan. Very Irish Pierce Brosnan.
Very Irish.
Whose own past may hold the clues to the identity of the elusive killers. So this movie's just under 2 hours. It's like two different movies fighting with each other. there's some interesting stuff there. Like Jackie Chan has got like this, like I said, history where he can like he's like this Mr. Gadget bomber guy. He's like got a MacGyver type tendencies. And I didn't realize how Irish Pierce Brosnan was. I had to look it up. He is an Irish American actor because he is Irish as fuck in this movie. And their performances are cool. It's just the movie is just so muddied by all its bullshit and makes this interesting concept. Like if I told you, hey, Jackie Chan's out for revenge on some Taken type shit.
Fuck
and
dude.
He's a bomb expert who can bring in a bag of groceries
Give me back my family.
Irish embassy and fucking blow it up. Versus Pierce Brosnan, who's the head of this Irish like wannabe IRA reboot, you'd be like, that sounds fucking cool, man. That sounds fun. And
yeah, if this was like Face Off too.
Yeah, shame on them for not making it as fun as it could be. It had some moments, but
I just pictured this. I'm sorry. I just pictured Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan switching faces.
That's a deep fake. That's a deep fake that we need. Just Pierce Brosnan doing like Jackie Chan stunts. Dude, I'm trying to hold it together. You are not helping me at all.
Okay.
At all. Finally, as everyone, I mean, two visions on everyone has is the adorable Bear Bears and then Jackie Chan, Pierce Brosnan face off. Yeah, just go to sleep with visions of that dancing in your head. Last thing I saw was on Hoopla. It's called Flower. It's a 2017 film by Max Winkler about a rebellious, quick-witted Erica Vandross. She's a 17-year-old firecracker living with her single mom, Laurie, and her mom's new boyfriend, Rob, in San Fernando Valley. So Bob's mentally unbalanced son, Luke, arrives from rehab to live with the family. Erica finds her domestic and personal life overwhelmed. God, this is a lengthy fucking description. So Luke shows up. He's her sidekick. And they, blah, blah, blah. They expose the high school teacher's dark secret. So Zoe Deutch plays Erica, the main character. Her mother's played by Catherine Hahn. We both love them. I'm a big fan of Zoe Deutch. Tim Heidecker plays the mom's love interest, who's annoying, and Adam Scott plays the ex-teacher, alleged sex offender. So Adam Scott's playing a villain in this one. And this
Not
movie,
the first time, Step Brothers.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of serious stuff combined with dark sense of humor. It's like a trashier, not as well done, like grocery store brand. What's the Saoirse Ronan movie? Lady Bird. It's like a trashier version of Lady Bird, like a weird coming of age movie.
Girl pigeon.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Zoe Deutch. So I've been meaning to see this movie for some time. I thought she was great, and Everybody Wants Some. Did
you see that she has a new movie called Buffalo?
Yeah, I want to see Buffaloed. I wish the theaters near me were playing it. And that's another reason. Like, I'm so bummed out that I can't see Buffaloed yet. I checked out Flower, and I thought this one was pretty good, man. I'm a sucker for coming of age stuff, and like I said, I'm a big fan of Zoe Deutch. And this movie just has its own brand of humor. It's a similar situation, a coming of age story. With some dark shit going on around it. But I thought it was very entertaining, cool indie movie with some people that I really dig.
Flower power.
So
for the people.
That's all for us this week, because we actually did an episode a week after our previous episode. Check us out.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hopefully we can continue.
My hand's been broken for both episodes.
Yeah. Josh is playing her, and hopefully life doesn't get in the way too much.
It looks like a lobster claw.
Oh, yeah, maybe put a picture up on Instagram, which no one will check. But thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll come at you next week with some interesting reviews.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Bye-bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.